views and opinions expressed on this show are those of the host, guests, and callers who are responsible for their content and do not reflect the opinions of In Touch Radio or its staff.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to In Touch Radio. Yes, the voice that you hear, it is your fake host, Ed Narain, with the co-host, Kenya Woodard, today, or should I say the award-winning Kenya Woodard. We are sitting in for the golfing Clint Paris and the resting Pete Edwards. There's a trend here. You know, it seems like we are being brought in, and we're not the B team, by the way. We're the A1 team.
A1.
Right? But we're being brought in so that individuals could go on vacation and play golf and do all this fun stuff. And then we're here on the radio talking about all this serious stuff. What's going on?
I'm actually enjoying it. So, hey, take all the vacations you need, Clint, Mr. Pete, whatever y'all need to do. I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, what's happening is today is the annual Tampa Alumni Guide-Right Foundation Golf Tournament. I think everybody knows that Clint Paris and I are proud members of the Tampa Alumni Chapter of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. If you don't know, you should ask somebody. But, you know, we are, man, this has to be like our 23rd year of doing golf tournaments in town. We were the first black MPHC group to do one back in late 99. And today they have an audacious goal that they are very close to, and that is raising about $50,000 for the Kappa League and all of our efforts with those young men. So kudos to the brothers that are out in Pasco golfing this morning.
Yeah, and congrats to you all on your efforts. That's a lofty goal, and I'm glad to see you guys are going to be able to match that.
Well, we've been shaken down.
Yeah.
You know, when you look around the golf course, there should be whole sponsorships everywhere. No, look, I went to a fundraiser this week. It was crazy, right? I'm not going to name the organization. It's one that I'm affiliated with, obviously. And I was invited out, and they said, hey, you should come to this thing. It's $1,000 a person. Yeah. Now, I don't got $1,000 to throw out there like that, but, you know, sponsorships, different things. But it was amazing. We walked into this mansion. I showed you the pictures. I didn't even know we had houses like that in Tampa.
Oh, yeah.
And I ain't that ignorant, but, man, I was ignorant. I was like, oh, this is nice. But, wow.
Yeah.
You know, it was a bourbon and cigar tasting. And so, you know, everywhere you went, there was fancy cars.
Yeah.
There was really great top shelf, rare bourbons. Great cigar sponsored by Tampa's own Fuente family. And they raised, between the silent and auction and everything else, $750,000.
Oh, well, sounds like Kappa need to switch y'all fundraising to that mansion and, you know, do the bourbon and cigars.
We high rollers, but I don't know if we rolling like that. But it was
Did we
amazing.
not have a conversation earlier this week about Kappas and Qs?
I will not accept that. You can see, this is a family show, and I don't like to curse, and I really do my best not to, but you're going to make me cuss on this radio show today, and we're not going to go there. We're not going to do that.
All right, fine. Another show. Anyway.
But my point in bringing that up is, while we've got a great effort going on for $50,000 today, hopefully, this organization raised $750,000, you know, at a mansion in South Tampa with, you know, liquor and Black and Miles at the end of the day.
Black and Miles.
So I'm looking at this, and you know, every time you think you've hit a level, and people are like, "Man, that's some real money." Da 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 da. Let me tell you, there's some people out there balling out.
Listen, and that's their everyday existence.
Right.
So you know, for them, it's just life, right? Yeah.
And they're not playing golf. They're not swinging. They're not working hard. They're sitting back sipping and smoking. And,
yes.
You know.
And they're very ornate pools and lounge areas.
Oh, my goodness. It was right on the bay. Like, you literally could fall into the bay, and it was dark. And I stayed right on the ground. I was not trying to get hurt.
Glad to see you still here with us.
But we have super producer Bezel in the building today. He's running the show for us. You know, which is cool. Yeah, you got to give yourself some applause.
Really,
that's what I'm talking about.
You like the best, man. Come on.
But you know what I want to know, Bezel? What's going on, man? All these rappers, man. This week, Takeoff from Amigos.
Listen, I lost my breath when I saw that. I just could not believe it. And then to read further into how everything unfolded, I'm still like, yeah.
Yeah, I know we do this radio thing from time to time. I don't want to be critical, but I mean, wow, a dice game?
Yeah, it's a terrible thing that's going on in the music industry right now. So a lot of rappers are getting killed you know, we got to stop this violence, this gun violence. It's terrible. It's getting out of hand.
Amen.
You know, so I mean, rest in peace. You know, my condolences go out to the family, and you know, all the loved ones and the fans who, you know, care deeply. So it's you know, hip hop and rap music is getting a bad name because of all this. So you know, it's just devastating to hear and to see all that. You know, we just can't have fun. We can't be lyrical anymore. Got to be, oh, show your guns, or you know, if you said something about me or you don't like the way I feel, you know, they want to go ahead and shoot. You know, nobody can take licks anymore. I don't know.
Oh,
So it's interesting. Go ahead, Kenya.
no, I was gonna say that's been what, when I was a kid back in the '80s is when the last time people took licks for
Right.
anything.
I guess so.
It's not been like that for a very long time.
When you say licks, you talking about fists.
Yes,
Yeah.
like throwing
Feet.
bows. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you're right. Here's what I'll say about that. Hip hop culture is getting a bad rap, no pun intended, for what's going down with the violence in the overall rap community right now. But if we think back to when hip hop started, you know, you go into the late 70s, people were rapping about the social conditions of what was going on in neighborhoods, like, you know, the ones that I grew up in New York. And of course, when you introduce drugs and violence, they're going to rap about that. But to Bezel's point, early days of hip hop, if you came at me in some lyrics, you know what I was going to do on Saturday night on DJ Red Alert Show? I was coming right back at you
Right.
with some new lyrics.
Right.
And that helped sell albums, believe it or not. People were into that. You know, Kool Moe Dee and LL Cool J.
Yep.
You know, one of those names you still hear about today. The others, you got to be a hip hop head to say who Kool Moe Dee is, unfortunately, right?
Unfortunately.
But they had a long running beef at one point in time. I mean, I remember when Roxanne was on the radio beefing with other rappers. I mean, it's
male rappers, might I add.
Right.
And yeah, you're right. Battle rap was a serious thing in the early days of hip hop, and we've long since moved from, you know, that time where you had to show and prove, you know, in your words. You had to have the bars, but now it's kind of moved away from that. I don't know. And you and I have had some discussion about this, and I first and foremost see hip hop rap. It's a story. It's a method of storytelling, 1st and foremost, in my opinion.
absolutely.
And so what the thing is that it's a reflection of whatever, you know, that artist, his life experiences, things that he's seeing going on in his community, whatever he's bringing, he or she, they're bringing that to wax. And so for some folks, you know, there's this idea that it's only about, you know, really terrible things going on, and it's not. But the thing is that it's an art form. And, you know, I remember yesterday we were talking and I was like, well, you got to remember when the blues first came out, everybody thought it was terrible because all they talked about was, you know, terrible things. But it was a reflection of the life that those artists were living and, you know, the people around them. And this is the same with hip hop. It's the same thing. I think in this instance with Takeoff, though, it's, oh man, when you read the details, it's just so tragically horrible because it did not have to happen as it did. But
So let's go back to the 90s, right? Because that's more of our, you know, younger days coming up as young
Sure.
adults. You know, I think we lost one of the greatest artists, not even just hip hop, but just artists in general, in Tupac,
yeah,
to gun violence. And then not even a year later, Biggie.
right.
And everybody, of course, keeps those two deaths connected because of their East Coast, West Coast beef. Whether or not it was a result of that is in the air. There's a ton of conspiracy theories, you know, out there about who was responsible. I won't name any names because I don't want to get sued, you know. But anyway, it was a devastating time for our generation when
Absolutely.
Tupac was murdered. I remember like my heart sunk. I was a fan, and I feel like the difference between today's artists and our artists were Tupac was classically trained. A lot of people don't realize that. He went to, the Baltimore School for the Arts.
Right,
I may have that
Vajayda.
wrong. He learned how to act. He learned
Yep.
how to write. So when people like Michael Eric Dyson and other philosophers would quote Tupac, you know, the rose that grew from concrete, they were like, hey, this is actual poetry. Because
Yes.
look at it. You don't have to put music to it, and it works.
It still works. Yeah, absolutely.
But today, you know, any random 17-year-old gets up there and throws something out there to a hot beat, and all of a sudden they're the next big thing, you know, and that's supposed to be art. And I just always kind of bristle a little bit at that.
I can understand because not everybody is rapping with a message, right? And even Tupac had a couple of party hits. I mean, he wasn't always, you know, just, you know, militant or however you want to look at it. And I wouldn't even say he was really militant, but
hit him up. He was pretty militant.
yeah, okay, thank you. All right, okay, let's give him that. But yeah, it just depends on, you know, the artist and, you know, what their, you know, experiences are. You know, how they want to be, the perspective that they want folks to have about them. You know, Tupac, he wanted obviously to be more than just, you know, a guy that could, you know, drop some bars on a hot beat. He had things he needed to say. It kind of reminds me of Sade. She says she only puts out music when she has something to say. And
she's coming back.
And she's coming back. I'm
Awesome.
so excited about that. But back to Tupac, I'd like to argue he did the same, but he did it with every album. He always had something to say. He always had a message on every album that he put out. And so, you know, unfortunately, we've gotten into this era of hip hop where not all artists have messages.
Well, and that's the thing. I don't know that there's a lot of hip hop because I don't want to, you know, denigrate it because I think there's, you know, there's J. Cole out there, obviously Kendrick Lamar. There's some rappers who are still saying some really important stuff.
Absolutely.
You know, if anything, you know, my heart kind of just flips upside down when I hear the female rappers today because their music is still the same. I don't even want to use the words that they're using, but it's all overly sexualized.
Excuse me?
It is not coming from an artistic place anymore.
Oh, wow.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Come on, Bezel. What you got
What
to
you got to say, Bezel?
Yeah. I already know there's about to be some.
No, not really. There's some other artists out there who are really pretty good. There's a lot more female artists are getting, you know, more attention. It's unfortunate that they have, you know, the party goer females, but that's okay. You know, it's okay. That's okay for certain crowds and young crowds and stuff like that. But they do have other artists, female artists that are really good. Even in the Tampa local area, and who can really spit bars and stuff like that. So I can't agree with you on that.
Bring that back though. Get that mainstream.
What do you mean bring it back? It never went away. That's what the man is telling you.
I know, but
It's
I want it to
always
be
been here.
mainstream. Like, you know, Meg Thee Stallion can actually rap, but I'm tired of hearing about her booty.
Okay, have
Just
you
saying.
listened to a full Megan album?
That's what I said. She can rap.
Have you listened
No,
to the whole?
I'm not going
so
to.
okay,
You know
so
I'm not going to.
okay. Well, how do you know she doesn't have something on there that's with a message on it?
I didn't say there wasn't a message. I'm saying what they're showing is her and her hind parts all the
Well,
time.
it also sex sells, you know. So
Thank
the
you.
you know that's they probably putting that more on the front, but on the back end, there's some actually good ones out there. You just gotta, you know, unfortunately, you just gotta search and find the right ones that you might like.
And the sexualization in hip hop, who started that trend? Please.
Wait. Why does every conversation I have with Ms. Woodard turn into some man versus woman thing? Like, look, that's not what I'm saying. If you're twisting this around, because the women have control. Y'all ain't got to rap about all that stuff if you don't want to rap about it.
Okay, you are right about that. We certainly can, you know, choose. But however, you know, the whole. I mean, man.
But
listen.
I understand what you're saying. You're missing the Eve and the Rod Diggers and the Lauryn Hills. I get
And
that.
I would argue that they're still there. You just have to look for them, even in your own community.
Right, and they're still there. They're still there.
We ain't got time to look for them.
All right.
Shout
We
out
ain't
to,
got time.
Shout out to Dynasty because she's hot. You know
And
what
Queen
I'm
of
saying?
X.
You know,
Yeah.
Dynasty, she's
look
local
at
in Tampa.
Queen of X as well.
You know what I'm saying?
Look.
She can spit.
Okay, hey, we need to get her on this show one day and do a little something.
How
for
you know
her.
she ain't been on the show? Just because you haven't heard
Oh
of
my
her
gosh.
does not mean she does not have a following and already got some name recognition, sir.
Let's go back to what we was initially talking about. But I think we're getting up on our first break here in a second. So we're going to come back. We're going to talk about any more of this rap stuff because obviously, you know, you want to beat up on me for being a man today, and I'm just not down with this. We got some election stuff we need to discuss.
Oh, boy.
So, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for listening. We'll be back in a few.
Call Ricky. Ask Ricky. You need medical or a lawyer? I got the man to do the leg work for you. We tried the other ones before, so believe we hunted down 813-248-6300. Everything gon' be okay. Call Ricky, he coming. He taking care of state of Florida. Grab a pen of sundown 184-361 Rick. That's 184-361-425. Never word from the point forward, just recline. Just ask Ricky, push your boy statewide. Just in case you missed it, I'ma tell you one more time. 1-800-361-RICK. Call Ricky, ask Ricky. It's a legal and medical referral service. The doctors and lawyers in our network are trained in handling auto injury claims and getting you the best medical treatment and recovery. Dial 1-844-361-RICK. That's 1-844-361-7425. Ricky. Ask Ricky.
Hey, this is Agent Wright, better known as Mr. Clean. You looking for some great barbecue? Come see them two brothers in the grill, located at 423 Virginia Street, Charleston, West Virginia. We got ribs, chicken, pulled pork, brisket, collard greens, mac and cheese, baby. Come get some and get you a nice, smooth cigar. 304-550-4431. That is 304-550-4431. Come get some, baby. The Rib Man, mama, the Rib Man.
We're playing your favorite old school. Today's R&B. With a smooth touch of jazz. You're listening to In Touch Radio.
And welcome back to Straight Up the Middle on In Touch Radio, where everybody can be a star. I am sitting here with the award-winning Kenya Woodard.
Thank you.
And we were discussing, not politics, believe it or not, but hip-hop and the recent murder of a member of the Migos, Takeoff. And as Bessel pointed out, this is just one in a series of murders of rappers in the last year. And it's hard to put one finger on it, but, just be safe out there. We want to get back to what we usually talk about on this show.
Yeah.
Which is politics.
We are how many days away from the election?
I don't know. I can't count.
I think it's 3.
Yeah. But when you talk about murders, all the numbers are not looking good for Democrats around the state of Florida. They're not looking good for Democrats even in Blue Hillsborough County. There are candidates who are running in swing seats in our district. At one point, Hillsborough was a bellwether county. Pinellas has been a bellwether county now, more so than we are, as Hillsborough's become more blue. But even some of those blue candidates, some incumbents I've heard, are in trouble. And my question to you, Ms. Woodard, what is going on?
I wish I knew, but let's not act like we're totally surprised here, right? If we can go back to, was it earlier this year, maybe in the spring? The DNC dropped the hammer and pretty much let it be known that there was not going to be a lot of hardcore campaigning when it came to the governors. Whoever was going to be the Democratic candidate for governor. They really weren't going to pour a whole lot of resources and money into Florida in that particular race. And even though they specifically pointed out this was for the governor's race, I took it as them pretty much saying that Florida itself was kind of off the table for the DNC this election cycle. But I could be wrong. But, I mean, look at where we are now. It's 3 days out from the election, and I'm not seeing any wins on the slate. I could be wrong.
So obviously the governor's race matters, right? There's coattails that I think a lot of candidates are going to slide right in the office on. Some of your local candidates, some of your legislative candidates. The governor is very strong when you look at it from an electoral standpoint. Some of that is a mix of money. Some of that is a mix of just being an incumbent, which it is hard to over.
It's hard to unseat an
incumbent. And a lot of it has to do, to your point, with resources. Looks like we have a caller calling in. I don't know who would be calling in on a Saturday morning to disagree with me on anything political. I wonder who this is. Caller, who are you? And what's your point today?
Uh-oh.
See, I told you nobody wanted to call in.
They get cold feet.
Caller, are you there? Try again, caller, because we do want to hear.
Let me quickly rephrase. I'm not seeing a lot of wins coming through for. I'm not saying it's going to be a total bloodbath. However, especially in some of the really top key races, not so much.
Well, I don't know about that.
Okay.
The reason why I said it's going to be bad is you're looking at caller. Who are you, and what do you want to share today?
Hey, Brother Ed, this is Sean Shaw. How's it going?
Holy cow. I just said, who the heck would call in and want to disagree with me politically? And it's the Honorable Sean
let's do
Shaw.
I'll be your Huckleberry this morning.
We were over here talking about the elections, what we think is going to happen on Tuesday. We didn't get into specifics, but I was just about to drop this number on Kenya. Here in the state of Florida, there are 5.2 million registered Republicans to 4.9 million registered Democrats. Democrats are outnumbered by Republicans in voter registration for the first time in Florida's history in this particular cycle in 2022. That's going to play a factor. But what else? Why are Democrats in trouble on Tuesday, Sean?
Well, I think one of the big things, Ed, is just turnout. Like, we're not turning out at the level, certainly not the level we did in 2018, but not the level you need to remain competitive, particularly when the registration advantage is not in our favor. So if Democrats aren't excited and Republicans are registered more than us and they're voting more than us, I think you're looking at the recipe for maybe a bad Tuesday for us.
And if anybody's going to know about this, Sean's going to know 2018, he was the Florida Democratic nominee for Attorney General. So you've been in these statewide battles before. What we were just talking about is the governor being one of the strongest incumbents around the country, but one of the strongest incumbents since Jeb Bush was governor back in 2002 in his reelect. How do you think that's going to affect the rest of the ticket? I mean, Val Demings, we've got 3 black women running statewide for the first time ever in the history of the state. Do you think that's going to translate into some help? Or
I think it will. Val is going to do better than Charlie. I think all the polls show that. And so, you ask yourself, well, why is Val going to do better than Charlie? Is it because Val is a better candidate and we like her more? Is it because she's running against someone who's less popular? Is it because she's a black woman and we know they're going to turn out? I think it's a combination of all those things. But, if Charlie doesn't keep this thing close, then I think it is going to have a negative effect on everyone underneath him, which is state Senate, state House, some of the congressional seats. If DeSantis is going to blow this thing out of the water, that means that I think we're in for a rough night up and down the ballot. And we'll see how this goes. And, black turnout is not where it needs to be either. But, for example, I haven't voted because I'm going to vote tomorrow at the Souls to the Polls thing. So I think tomorrow is going to be an important day for black turnout to see if we can close the gap and increase black turnout in particular.
So, Sean, I got to ask this question, right? When I look around the country, I look at neighboring Georgia, Stacey Abrams, the folk hero of 2018, who narrowly lost, is losing. I look at Texas, Beto is losing. We hear about Senate races that we thought were locked up 6 weeks ago. And now, John Fetterman is allegedly in trouble. New Hampshire is in play. Herschel Walker may be the senator from Georgia on Tuesday night. What the heck is going on, Sean?
I don't know, man. The Stacey Abrams, Beto O'Rourke thing is very depressing because, like you said, enormous resources and a lot of energy, and we all thought, well, these are the 2 superstars, and if they both go down, that's going to be tough for us. I think. I'm oversimplifying here, but I do believe one trap Democrats fell into is we wanted to talk about what was important to us and what we wanted to be important to people rather than talking to people about what's important to them. Roe v. Wade for 2 months was a really big deal, but then it's not anymore. And I think Democrats were too slow to pivot away from it. And not to say that abortion access isn't important, not to say that Roe v. Wade, the overturning of it, was a massive problem, but you got to talk to voters about what they think is important, not what you want them to think is important. And I don't think we talked enough about this inflation stuff. I don't think the border stuff is something that we don't talk about in the right way. The issues that Republicans are beating us over the head with, and our response is, well, democracy is in trouble, and we're going to help you with a woman's right to choose. That's going straight over a lot of people's heads when gas is so expensive and when everything that they're trying to buy is expensive, and when Republicans are just saying, we're going to fight inflation. And I know that's rough for Democrats to hear because we want to talk about what we want to talk about, but people obviously are telling you we want to talk about crime, inflation, and immigration.
I think the last time we really nailed it and got it right, well, one of the last times we really nailed that and got it right was when Clinton was running against Bush. I mean, he just kept it focused on the economy and, how everyday people were struggling to, do the things they needed to do, right? And just kept slamming it over and over and over again and eventually got into the White House on that.
Yeah. Well, let's not forget, not to disagree with you because I do agree with you. Ross Perot helped out a lot in '92.
Oh, that too. No, don't get me wrong.
It was great to have Ross on the.
I'm talking about Sean's point of messaging and how it was a late pivot away from Roe v. Wade and those things to going back to gas is still high. What are you doing? My eggs are $5 a carton.
We may lose the governor's house in New York.
Which, wow. Is
This is a 5-alarm fire around the country. This ain't just a Florida problem, by the way.
No, it's not.
Democrats have a problem here in Florida, but nationwide we are having a problem. And why?
Well,
we got to look in the mirror and why are we losing to the DeSantises and the Terry Lakes and the Herschel Walker? Why are we losing these crazy people?
I want to point out as to what you always say, Ed. Maybe it's the candidates that are being put up to run. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
Speaking of candidates, Sean, the way you're talking today, you sound like a candidate.
Warnock is like the best candidate you could have.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he is tailor-made for Georgia, and he may lose to this fool Herschel Walker.
I am not hopeful about Tuesday night. Candidly. I agree with everything you said, Sean. I know we joke around a lot about disagreeing, but Sean and I, we agree probably at 99% of the things that we've ever had discussions about. And the truth of the matter is messaging remains a problem for Democrats and for Democratic candidates, especially in times of what's the word I'm looking for? In the good times.
Yeah.
Like if we're being very honest about where we've been to where we are, look, do you want Biden as president? Do you want Trump as president? America's going to have to decide that question in 2 more years because apparently Trump's going to announce on the 14th that he's running for president again, right? But what that question came down to in 2020 was about the future, the soul of America. Who do we really want to be? The question in 2022, to Sean's point, is not about abortion. It should be, if you're a Democrat, about having your rights curtailed and about whether or not the economy is doing well. Inflation didn't happen because of Democrats. You forgot about the administration giving away money prior to them for years and just printing money at 0% interest rates. That's not sustainable.
Right.
So now we're dealing with the pain of that, and the person in the White House is dealing with that. And the truth is, midterms are always a reflection of the presidency. Right? So whoever's in office, the opposite party is going to take the Congress. And that's what we're seeing. The concern that I have is that all around the country, you're seeing this trickle-down effect towards Republicans away from Democrats. And that's a dangerous thing when there's so much mistruth out there. Sean, you sound like a candidate, man. When are we going to see you on the ballot again? What do you plan to do, man? Are you going to run for DNC chair?
Listen, man, am I to do what now?
Oh my!
You heard that, huh?
I'm like Trump. I'm gonna make all these announcements after the midterms. But no, I'm looking at some things, and I've been out of office here for a while, and I may be getting the itch to do it. And it's nothing like sitting here complaining, and eventually, like, what, I need to get here myself and try to do some things. So I'm looking at a few things, but I'm just real, because what is about to happen, Ed, I didn't know this, someone told me this. If these elections go as they look like they may, Florida may not have a Democratic statewide official for the first time ever.
Wow.
Like, no one.
Can you imagine?
Like, we've always had one, maybe two.
Oh, wow.
None. None may be the problem. And that I just want us to stop trying to explain it away, and we need to deal with the fact that people are choosing another message, and we got to deal with that rather than just to say, "Oh, DeSantis is bad," and people just need to know how bad he is, and we need to fix our own house.
Amen.
And I just think we need to kind of look in the mirror and have some tough conversations as Democrats that we need to have a message that people accept and that speaks to everyone and that black people are okay with, and, that the coalition of Democratic voters gets excited about. I mean, we're having the worst turnout ever right now against a man that we all don't like. And we still can't get excited.
I mean, you bring up some great points there. Well, Sean, as you're going through your deliberations, we're going to ask you to come up to this show, straight up the middle, and make the announcement first.
Right.
Let the internet know what you're going to do.
And I will commit to doing that, brother. I will commit that y'all will be the first to know.
There you
All
go.
right.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable Sean Shaw. Thanks for calling in, Sean. We appreciate your time this morning. You're listening to Straight
I
Up the Middle.
appreciate y'all having me, as always.
Have a great one. Straight Up the Middle on In Touch Radio. We'll be right back.
Hi, this is Angela Birdsong, and I'm running to be your next Hillsborough County Commissioner in District 2. And I want to encourage you to vote by mail. You can do that by contacting your supervisor of elections in your county. Voter suppression is real, and we have to be prepared to vote and get your family members registered. Do it today. Call me if you have a question. 813-476-4837. 813-476-4837.
Ray Williams Funeral Home, providing the highest quality, professional, and caring service for your family. Call Jeffrey Rose at 813-253-3419. That's 813-253-3419. Or visit him at 301 North Howard Avenue, Tampa, Florida. Ray Williams Funeral Home, for the finest care and quality service.
Who doesn't love being number one? When your team's dominating the standings, or your favorite band rocks the charts at number one, it feels good, right? Kind of like how it feels when you have auto insurance with State Farm. Because making you feel like number one is an honor your local State Farm agent takes seriously. Through the good times and not so good, your State Farm agent's proud to be here to help life go right.
Call Herman White at 961-6661. That's 961-6661.
So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Straight Up the Middle on In Touch Radio, where everyone can be a star. Unless you look like me, of course. Well, I mean, I didn't do my makeup and all that other stuff. I just kind of threw on a shirt and came out here. USF Bulls still losing. We need to win one today at Temple. Gosh, it's rough, but I'm ride or die,
Okay.
It's like I'm a Knicks fan, and for the Laker fans out there, they're like 2 and 6.
Actually admitted that on air?
I'm proud of my teams. I am proud. We won last night in Philly. It was a struggle, but we got the W, and we're going. The Bulls are going to Philly today at 2 o'clock. We're going to beat Temple. I mean, it's that easy.
Okay.
But while we were on the break, our super producer back here, Bezel, said something that we need to keep pressing the button. We got to get people out to vote. Now, he's an independent. He wants to make it clear he ain't down with none of the gang wars that the Democrats and the Republicans are. He ain't with none of that.
None of that.
But he was like, people need to get out and vote.
Vote, period.
And, I said, come back on the radio and say that for us. He was like, nah, I can't do that. And I was like, what's up, man? He's like, I'm too cool for school. I'm not going to get out there and push. But for real, folks, today, tomorrow, you can vote early. Okay, there's a lot of events going on. There's a Souls to the Polls event tomorrow that NAACP is putting on, and there's a coalition of Faith in Florida and groups today that are going to be doing another push to get people to vote. See Blythe Andrews Library. Both events will be taking place. I think one is at the Belmont Heights Park.
Yep.
And even in West Tampa, we've got a little Souls to the Polls tomorrow, so make sure you vote. Caller, you're listening to Straight Up the Middle. Who are you, and what would you like to say today?
Good morning. My name is Ronald Woodard. I'm calling from Gary, Indiana.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Is this Mr. Woodard?
It is.
Wait, I got, you know what? Mr. Woodard, we are glad to hear your voice today.
Yes,
I
we are.
hope that you're coming on here to help me because your daughter gives me fits when we're on this show
he's
together.
not here to help you.
What?
No, this is my father. How's he here to help you?
He raised you. He knows what you like.
Anyhow, good morning, Dad. Thanks for calling in. What do you have to say?
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. She's quite a conversationalist, isn't she?
You had some points you want to make, Dad?
Yes. You guys need to stop downing this coming up election because you're going to have an October surprise in November. Okay?
Oh, okay.
All right.
What is your prediction?
Democrats are going to. It's going to be a blue wave.
Oh,
I'm
really?
telling you, it's going to be a blue wave.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do you figure this?
No doubt about it.
Okay.
It's going to be a blue wave.
How do you figure this?
How do I figure it?
Yeah.
Because
How do you know?
everybody's getting this attitude that the Republicans are gonna win all these elections. I'm sorry, we're gonna take over the House of Representatives and the Senate, and everything's gonna be fine. Okay.
Okay.
All right, I like it. Listen, I think
Just
your
hold your
dad
horses.
might be on to something here.
How do you? Oh, wait.
I do think he's on to something because, and Mr. Woodard, you tell me if you agree with my theory here, but in 2016,
Go ahead.
we were flat out told that the polls were wrong, right? That's why Hillary lost. The polls were wrong. 2018, they told us the same thing. The polls are wrong. 2020, the polls are wrong. And now it's 2022, and all the Republican candidates are saying, the polls are correct. We are leading. Meanwhile, they're still saying the election from 2020 was stolen.
Yes.
So they're setting up this challenge for if a Democrat is to win in some place that they weren't expecting it, to say you can't trust what you see here. They stole the election because the polls show that I was leading.
Okay.
Don't go with those polls. Remember the polls said Hillary Clinton was going to win. Remember that?
Oh,
Yeah. We do.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, all these polling conglomerates they're owned by Republicans. All these the people that's doing all these people that's putting out these predictions, they're owned by Republicans. Republicans are not going to go against themselves. They're going to say, well, they want public sentiment to go their way. So they're predicting that the Republicans are going to win. I'm sorry, it's not going to happen.
Okay, so you don't think Herschel Walker is going to win?
Oh, please, come on. Herschel Walker, come on.
Wow.
Give me a break.
But here's the thing.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay. One thing before I get off this air, do you guys have an ink pen? I want y'all to I want y'all to put this down. Write this down.
Okay. Go ahead.
There's an article called "Republicans Have a Plan to Change the Constitution, and It Just May Work." Now that's an article that's already been written, and while we down here dancing and talking about Kanye West and all that other stuff, they got a bigger plan. They got something bigger ahead for us. But y'all better you young folks need to take note. I'm telling you.
Okay.
They're going to change this Constitution. They're planning on it.
It wouldn't be surprising, and that's really not too far fetched.
No, it's not.
For a constitutional convention to occur, I think you just need 3/5 of the state houses.
I was just going to say that's a very real possibility, and a lot of people don't really know that they think the Constitution is it's a closed deal.
Right.
But if you have enough states ratify, a convention, it could actually happen.
And it really could. I mean, that's the scary thing about the prospects of Donald Trump running for office again and potentially winning, which I just don't see it. But
it could happen. It could be circumvented if you young folks do what y'all supposed to do.
Well, Mr. Woodard, I just want to say thank you for calling me young today because I don't feel it. But your daughter is considerably younger than me. But yes, she's a young person. I'm not a young person, man. You should see my medicine cabinet. It's amazing.
You sound like a young man.
He is. I'm only 43. You're what? 45?
I'm
46. Come on.
Keep going. No, I'm just joking. Listen.
Oh shoot! No.
It's how I feel, man. I feel old. It's like Democratic messaging. It's old.
It's old, really. It's old.
Well, Mr. Woodard, thanks for calling in and joining us
Thanks for
today.
calling in, Dad.
Yes, sir.
Next time you got to tell us some stories.
No stories. Goodbye, Daddy. Have a good day. Love you.
Yeah.
Okay, that's nice.
My own daughter trying to get rid of me. Well, y'all have a blessed day.
You as well, Daddy. Talk to you later.
All right.
Thanks for calling in.
Bye-bye.
Well, it's amazing. It's like you're a teenager again, trying to get rid of your dad. That's jacked up.
No, tell a story.
No
Dad,
stories.
Hang up.
He's
Quick.
like, hang up.
No stories.
Quick now.
Get him out of here.
They don't
No
need to know
stories.
this.
Exactly. Thank goodness this is, we don't have, we do. I don't have any pictures. He doesn't have any ability to show pictures, so thank goodness. No stories, no pictures. Let's just move on. Thank you.
You know, I want to talk about the concept of Herschel Walker. And I say the concept because we've seen this before, just not to this level of incompetence. I don't want to call the man ignorant because I don't know him. I think some of the statements that he makes, he's inarticulate, if we're going to be fair.
Okay.
He knows what he's trying to say. It just doesn't come out in a way that, is comprehensible to most people. But when I say the concept, we've seen this throughout history with African Americans where, white folks will take a black person that agrees with them on issues and prop them up and say, you should vote for this person. In Martin Luther King's book, Why We Can't Wait, he talks about this. These hand-selected African-American candidates that run in our districts with white support.
Yeah.
Okay? Because their intent is not necessarily to help, but to be able to control. And so Herschel Walker is representative of that. I think one of the best things on the internet this last week was Jamal Bryant.
Yes, we need a runner, not a walker.
Holy cow!
Yeah, and I'm not a Jamal Bryant. I will say this: I recognize his gift. Don't get me wrong. The man is he's a phenomenal preacher. I'm not a diehard fan or anything, but in this instance, he nailed it. He really kind of drove in the message about exactly what Dr. King was talking about. Beware of these types of folk who come into our communities to tear us apart, be divisive, all these things, because they're controlled by folks who really want to but let me also say that we see the Herschel Walkers coming, right? And when I say we, I mean those of us in the black community. We I remember everyone was so shocked when Trump won the nomination, and we were for most people I know in my circle, we were all like, yeah. Right. Hello? Right. Like, don't underestimate people, just because they don't check all the boxes that you think they should. And it's the same thing with Herschel Walker. When he won the Republican nomination, who was surprised?
Well, this is my point, though. It's this contrast between, as you heard Sean Collin say earlier, a dream candidate and a Reverend Warnock who is highly educated, well-respected, great moral character, runs a church, is a sitting incumbent U.S. Senator, let's not forget that, versus a former athlete. I mean, this man hasn't touched a ball in 35, 40 years, very inarticulate, has been caught on the stump lying, straight up lying in a debate. I'm an officer, see my badge. I mean, almost buffoonish-like.
I'm sorry.
But yet, the last poll I heard, he was up too.
Because although he has long since stopped carrying footballs, clearly he's carrying a message that, obviously most of us are, it's just repulsive to the ears. But for a large segment of voters in Georgia, he's exactly spot on, doing exactly what they want to see in a candidate that they want to take to the Senate.
I'd argue it's deeper than that.
Okay.
It's deeper than that.
Let's go deep.
What do Republicans see in him? I'm just curious. I'm still curious.
It's not even Republicans. There are racist white people, and I want to be clear because I'm not saying white people. There are racist white people who only see black men in certain ways. Okay? And one of those ways is with a ball in their hand. The other is with a microphone. Okay? If they're rapping, singing, dancing, acting. All right? So let's be honest about what this is. They have a puppet that they can put up and say, look, he's one of you, because that is how we are seen. We have black philosophers, black poets, we have black artists, we have black business people, we have black professional politicians. But those are not who they put up. They put up people that they think, one, we're going to vote for just because we know them and we like them, and two, people who they really, that's the only place in their minds that they can cognitively see us be exceptional and not feel threatened.
Very good points.
Because the Reverend Warnock is a problem.
Oh, absolutely.
But we're going to take a break and come back because I want to go a little bit deeper onto this because it's a problem, ladies and gentlemen. You're listening to Straight Up the Middle on In Touch Radio. We're going to come back and And Kenya's going to have a lot to say.
You're listening to Tampa Bay Tammy
Your girlfriend.
on In Touch Radio.
In Touch Radio.
Hey, this is Agent Wright, better known as Mr. Clean. You looking for some great barbecue? Come see them two brothers in the grill, located at 423 Virginia Street, Charleston, West Virginia. We got ribs, chicken, pulled pork, brisket, collard greens, mac and cheese, baby. Come get some and get you a nice, smooth cigar. 304-550-4431. That is 304-550-4431. Come get some, baby. The rib man, mama, the rib man.
You've been injured. You deserve help from an attorney that knows how to handle your injury claim. This is Attorney Clinton Paris from the Law Office of Clinton Paris. For over a decade, I worked for insurance companies, and now I use that knowledge and experience to help people that have been injured. For a free consultation, call me, Attorney Clinton Paris, at 813-413-7924. That's 813-413-7924, or at parislawoffice.com. At the Law Office of Clinton Paris, we take the pain out of being hurt. Offices, Riverview.
We're playing your favorite old school. Today's R&B. With a smooth touch of jazz. You're listening to In Touch Radio.
God bless each and every one of you, and have a happy 4th of July. This is Pastor Harold Ford. Join us this weekend for the House of Gospel Music. Cherry Johnson tells us about the freaks who slap the babies behind. Evangelist Dorothy Norwood stops by to tell us a real story. And all of your gospel favorites back to back on the House of Gospel Music. Gospel Hallelujah, heard right here on this great radio station.
All right, ladies, welcome back to Straight at the Middle on In Touch Radio. And I said ladies because we just multiplied. Yay! We went from having Kenya Woodard here by herself to Miss Elena Narain. You look so familiar, young lady.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is my youngest daughter. Years ago, you got an opportunity to meet Zahara. Zahara is on to bigger and better things, does not want to be with Dad this morning. But Elena is here, my ride or die. Say good morning to the people.
Morning, guys.
Good morning. Welcome.
So, this is our last segment of the day. And later this week, there is a sorority, Sigma Gamma Rho Incorporated, that is going to reach 100 years old.
Let's rewind that back, please. Sigma what?
Huh?
Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
It's like I'm being pledged.
Get it right, man. Do you see me when I'm talking about Kappa Alpha Psi in the formal? Do I just go Kappa Incorporated? No. Well,
excuse me, ladies and gentlemen.
Let's try to
Later this week, there'll be a centennial celebration for Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated.
Thank you.
As if we didn't know y'all was a sorority.
Hey, just
what do y'all
the
about?
name right.
That's just what I was trying to be nice today. Now you tell me, what is your organization about? How are you around for 100 years?
Well, let's start from the beginning, shall we? Founded in 1922 on the campus of Butler University in Indianapolis, Indiana, at the height of the Ku Klux Klan membership era in the state of Indiana. More than 1 million members in the Klan in the state of Indiana. It was against the law for black people to congregate in groups in the city.
Until the Kappas did it, but go ahead.
Anyhow.
We paved the way.
On November 12th, 1922, 7 educators came together to found the greatest sorority in all the world. And we will be celebrating returning home next week on the 12th to celebrate our centennial year. We are so excited. So excited. Yep, sorors.
Are you going up for the celebration?
Man, what's my name? What? I wouldn't miss this. I'm not going to be here for the bicentennial. So guess what? I'm going up. I
You
will be
don't know
there.
what modern medicine discoveries are going to happen?
I ain't taking no chances.
Okay, so you're going to be up
I
there
will be
celebrating. What's the name of that song y'all dance to again?
What song?
It's not dancing, it's strolling. Y'all have a song.
Oh, do not pass me by, oh gentle Savior. Yes, because we
No.
are good women of God, and
No, there's a song. I think is it Too Short that says "Shake That Monkey"?
To who? Monkeys? What, sir? Really?
Ladies and gentlemen, if you can hear me, take a moment, go to YouTube and just type in Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated and "Shake That Monkey," and you will find out everything you need to know about.
See, look at you slandering first of all, and then we have this young impressionable young girl here, and you're talking about shaking monkeys.
She's
sir?
already impressed.
Okay, well,
What sorority are you planning to be a member of one day?
Sigma Gamma Rho.
Oh!
It's okay. I understand. She has to say the other because
I don't have to. I choose to.
So, ladies and gentlemen, thank y'all for listening to In Touch Radio this morning.
Got me together. Okay.
But in all seriousness, yeah,
All right.
pick that face up. In all seriousness, the Divine Nine organizations obviously do great things. We let off with the Kappa's happening golf tournament today.
Mm-hmm.
The Sigma Gamma Rose Sorority Incorporated,
Thank
or as
you.
I used to say back in the day, the SG Rose.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can still say that.
Oh, I can still say that?
You can still say it.
Because I know y'all be like, we're Sigma women.
We are Sigma women. There are Sigma men. We are Sigma women.
Oh, okay.
And
Just wanna be clear.
it works.
But y'all do great work in our
Thank
community and across the country. Now, your founders, they had something in common. What were they? They were
all educators.
Okay.
Yeah, all educators. Lifelong careers in education. Also administrators. Headed up schools. I mean, that was the thing.
Yeah.
And for a long time, we were thought of as a sorority for teachers, which we didn't have no problem with. But we welcome all women of all backgrounds. So careers.
So give our listeners like a glimpse of what a centennial celebration would look like. If you're not in an MPHC organization, you probably are like, okay, what do they mean a centennial?
Yeah. So the reason, it's a big deal because first of all, 100 years, why not? But the secondly, also, when you think about, where your organization started from and where you are today, it's a really big deal. You have to celebrate. And so for us, that means all of us coming together in Indianapolis. We did it in July for a week, and we're returning on the actual Founders Day, which is November 12th. And it is a series of, we're actually doing a little business. We're doing a little fun. We're having an event on the campus of Butler University, which is our home, and we've been, tremendously embraced by the university. And so also visiting grave sites of the founders as well. So it's just a collection of events, and I'm not sure I'm going to get any sleep between Friday and Sunday next week, but it's okay.
But none of the events sound like a reason for you not to get any sleep. I'm a little confused by that.
Well, listen, first of all, you're not a member, so you don't have all the detailed itinerary.
Oh, that's true.
You don't know what's the...
But it sounds like y'all going to be doing a lot of partying.
We have some business
Is
mixed
this
in
where
there.
that Too Short song comes into play, I think?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Too
I think
short?
that's what's going on.
No. But, again, Pass Me Not by Oh Gentle Savior will be on repeat because, that's
Yeah, they're going to do that at the church service on Sunday, and then the rest of the week, it's going to be Uncle Luke.
Not Uncle
Don't
Luke.
stop. Get it. No, but congratulations
Thank
to
you.
all of the Sigma Gamma Rose out there. Just
you.
tremendous accomplishment. I think you all are the next to last of the Divine Nine to hit 100.
Yes.
We will certainly not be here when the Iotas hit 100.
No. But that's going to be a good time too, I imagine. And that's the thing, being able to be on this end, you've seen all the other, centennial celebrations, and I mean, everybody put it on. Like, I was excited when, even when, the frats were coming through with their 100 celebrations. It was an exciting time. And so that's the beauty of, being the baby girl in the bunch.
Speaking of baby girl in a bunch, what do you think? Do you want to go to the Sigma Gamma Rho Centennial Celebration?
To be honest, I don't know any of these sororities and fraternities.
Wait up.
Except for like two.
Which two do you know, baby?
Yes.
I know AKA, Kappa, Omega, and Gamma and Delta. And that's it.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm not even going to ask where or how, but she knows. She's been around a few. Now, you know, Miss Kenya is an SG Row. And I'm sure she'll bring you something back nice from her centennial. That her mom was going to say, you cannot keep in this house. But it's all good.
But Mr. Durain, because she only knows of 4, what's going on? I mean, she's such a champion of the Divine Nine. She should know all 9.
Well, what happens is, you know, she hangs out with a lot of people. You know, she is a member of Jack and Jill, right? And so a lot of the moms in Jack and Jill are members of different organizations, and they, you know, try to impress upon her where she should go and what she should do one day. But as you can tell by her face, she's kind of like, they can impress all they want, huh?
You've already made up your mind. Okay, that's fine.
Don't tell the world. Don't tell everybody. But listen, I will tell y'all something.
I should wear my AKA shirt.
She just told the world. What was that? Say that louder.
I should have worn my AKA shirt.
Oh, right next to the SG Row celebrating her 100. You have no shame at all. This is my baby. She'll drop it.
It ain't for everything. Ain't for everybody.
Okay.
So you know, hey.
Well, we have a few days left. Again, I want to hammer home the election message because you can early vote today, you can early vote tomorrow, and then you're going to have Tuesday. Tuesday is the last day to cast your vote. Please, folks, we got to vote.
Yes.
At the end of the day, all the problems that are going on, everybody's saying we got to do something,
Here's your chance.
You can protest. You can get on social media and write, you know, all the crap you want. Yeah.
Right.
The only thing that changes is action, and that is going to be vote. And I'm telling you, I use the word action. Affirmative action is on the ballot.
Yes.
You know, LGBTQ rights are on the ballot.
Yes.
Choice rights are on the ballot. Just individual freedoms on the ballot. Dang, I think Obama said something like this. But anyway, it's that important that we're going to spend the last 30 seconds or so of the show just talking about it. If you have questions, reach out. You know, we're happy to help you, you know, make decisions about who you should be supporting. But don't skip over the local races, ladies and gentlemen. People tend to vote for the governor and the senator, and then they move on.
Yeah. We've got some county commission races on the ballot, as well as excuse me, the judges, and also I'm sorry, I want the state and House Senate. I mean, state Senate and the state House races on the ballot, folks. It's an important election. A lot of people tend to overlook the midterms, but we just can't afford to do that.
This is when the change happens, honestly.
Absolutely.
And frankly, today's school board member is tomorrow's state rep. So, you know, when you wonder years later, where did this person come from with these extreme views? It was because you didn't vote in the midterm. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is our cue for this week. We want to thank y'all for joining in and listening to Straight Up the Middle on In Touch Radio. I want to thank my co-host, Elaine in the Rain, coming in here just shattering dreams this morning. We want to, of course, thank the lovely Kenya Woodard.
Thanks for having me.
Congratulations on 100 years.
Thank you.
Of course, we've got the premier producer in Tampa Bay, Bezel, on the ones and twos. But ladies and gentlemen, be good or be good at it. Have a great week.
So I went to the club, put on a fresh white suit and a mini coupe sitting on dubs.